Hi there, and welcome to the first lesson of this new section on AI-powered productivity. This is an incredibly exciting section for you to understand how AI can make you more productive. We're going to be looking at the two main models, which are ChatGPT and Gemini. I'm going to take you through some of the basics. So it's a really exciting section, and I can't wait to bring all of this technology to you. But let's take a look at some general information and background on ChatGPT. So artificial intelligence is a smart technology that streamlines tasks. It's like having a team of experts to think and solve problems, making your operations more efficient and freeing up your time for high impact activities. And that really is the case if you've ever played around with ChatGPT or Gemini and been able to see just what the possibilities are with this technology. So AI as a technological advancement has been around for a few years, but it only really started to break out at the end of 2022. So on the second screenshot there, you can see the search volume. This is just indicating the amount of search queries that went on around the topic of ChatGPT. And then, as you can see, by the end of 2022 is when it absolutely just shot up like a rocket, and that's when it hit mainstream media, and everybody was getting on board. Very few topics have entered into mainstream consciousness with quite the same impact that AI has. So to use a reference for how popular it's become, on the first screenshot here, we can see all of the search trends and search queries done for different topics, and specifically the topic of cryptocurrency. So as you can see, the blue line that is running along, those are all the queries around cryptocurrency as a topic. If you have a look at the red line, that is all the queries done for ChatGPT, and the green line is for AI as a search term. And this is just crazy to see, because just a few years back, to me, it seemed as if cryptocurrency was just everywhere. I mean, everywhere I looked, everything was talking about cryptocurrency, and you couldn't really escape it. It was just one of those topics that was on everybody's lips. So to see ChatGPT to this extent is quite phenomenal, and that just gives you an idea of the popularity and the power that this technology holds. And we're going to tap into that power, and I'm going to show you how you can use it to be more productive in your professional life. So with that, that brings this lesson to an end, but stay tuned, because the next lesson we're going to be looking at just a bit of a background, and then ultimately in the following lessons we're going to be really digging into ChatGPT and Gemini and just seeing how it can help you. So I will catch you in the next lesson. Goodbye. Welcome back to this lesson. We're going to be looking at generative AI. So this is a broad subfield of AI that is built on different parent fields, each contributing to its development and application. So here we have all of the parent fields that are responsible for generative AI as a whole. I won't go too much into detail with those and get into the weeds of it, but just to know that generative AI is the broader category, and we're going to be looking at conversational AI, which is a subcategory of that. And this is where we have the chat interfaces like ChatGPT as well as Gemini. So those are the two main ones we're going to be focusing on. Generative AI is where the creative aspects of AI come to life. So this is where things like creative writing, strategic thinking, market research, analyzing data, organizing and categorizing data, and much more come together through an interface like ChatGPT. So you're able to do all of these productive tasks not just creative writing where you're generating content, but also you're able to analyze and organize content that you supply to ChatGPT and Gemini. And in the next lesson, we're putting ChatGPT and Gemini head to head to give you an idea of the strengths and weaknesses of each of these chat interfaces, and for you to be able to decide for yourself which you'd like to use in your daily workflow and to help you be more productive. But for this lesson, that's it. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye. Hi, and welcome back to this lesson. We're looking at the differences of ChatGPT versus Gemini. There are some key differences, and we're going to be looking at those. So let's have a look at each of them. The primary focus for ChatGPT is generative AI. So it excels in creative writing and content generation, code generation as well. It's incredibly adept at coding and disseminating and understanding code, and also generating engaging and human-like text formats. Whereas Gemini is a bit more designed for research and information gathering, leveraging its access to real-time data and Google search capabilities to provide comprehensive and accurate responses. So this is one of the key differences with Gemini and ChatGPT, is that Gemini does have access to real-time data, so it taps into Google's extensive database and search capabilities, whereas ChatGPT on the free version has limited access in the free version to web browsing capabilities. And this is a topic we're going to discuss next. So web access, previously ChatGPT relied on data sources trained up to April 2023. That was the cutoff. This is the official cutoff. However, there is unofficial rumors that April 2024 is when the last model was trained on. But it now has browsing capabilities. However, this is only available on the paid version of ChatGPT, which is the pro version, as well as if you're using the API. So if you are making API calls to the OpenAI platform, you could have access then to browsing capabilities. Gemini aims to provide factual and accurate information, so it does tap into Google's database and extensive data resources, as well as having real-time data access, which is quite important. Accuracy, it must be noted that both of these models do make mistakes, so it's always good to fact check and not to necessarily take the responses as gospel truth, and just make sure to be aware of that. So accuracy for ChatGPT, it relies on external sources as well as the knowledge database that it has. This can mean if there's a gap between the cutoff date and the current date, there would be a gap in the information there. So if you're not on the pro plan that is able to access and browse the internet, there could be a knowledge gap there. But again, the pro version has browsing functionality. Gemini generally performs better as it can have direct access and integrate in real time with Google's data sources. So it does have that slight edge there on the free plan, at least. Integrations, custom GPTs, there's an entire marketplace, and this is where you're able to access GPTs that others have created, so they can perform very specific functions. So if you wanted video creation, or if you wanted to do an audit, an SEO audit of your website, there are custom GPTs out there that make this available, and they're created by some incredible people, agencies, experts, you name it. There are custom GPTs available, and that's only available on the pro plan of ChatGPT. For Gemini, you have inherent access to all of the Google Workspace apps. So that is Google Sheets, Google Docs, Gmail, all of that. As well as Google Drive, so you are directly integrated with that. However, there are no plugins at this stage, but it might be introduced in the future. When looking at the price, both are equally matched. Of course, there is a free plan for both of them. And if we look at ChatGPT, the Pro plan has the advantage of allowing you web browsing functionality. It performs a lot better, especially in peak times and when there is high load, you're able to still get your responses. Whereas on the free version, you would be throttled and only able to get your responses once the servers free up and have the capacity to do so. The other major benefit is that of custom GPTs. You're able to access all of those on the GPT marketplace. So those are some really significant enhancements and features that you get access to with the Pro plan. On the paid plan of Gemini Advanced, you're able to have enhanced features, capabilities like deeper data analysis, more complex query handling, and sophisticated content generation. There's also priority support, increased usage limits, so more availability. You can also have higher or unlimited usage caps for queries, API calls, and data processing. So there's a number of key enhancements and benefits on the paid plans for each of these models. So have a look at them and see what feels better to you, what is better suited to your workflows in terms of productivity. Both work equally well. I'm a staunch ChatGPT fan, and that is my tool of choice, so I use that daily. I love being able to create my own custom GPTs that are trained on my own knowledge and using all of the info and data points that I supply it. So that is a major advantage. I also like the having better availability and better performance to know that when I'm putting a query in, it's not going to be limited or throttled. And there is no doubt it completely pays for itself. Just the enhancements in productivity that you get from this is incredible. And with that, we've come to the end of this lesson. In the lessons to follow, we're going to be working on your skill set and how you can improve your prompts and just get more from ChatGPT or Gemini. But that's it for this lesson. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye. Hey there, and welcome to this next lesson on perfect prompts. The prompt is your secret weapon for unlocking the AI's potential. So let's look at what makes a good prompt. Firstly, it needs to be clear and concise, so you should use direct, simple, unambiguous language to explain what you are looking for. Using a persona is highly recommended. A persona is a character or avatar that the AI model should work as. So if they must be acting as an expert or somebody in a creative field or anything like that. So it's the persona that they take on to be able to answer the question. This helps to give it the relevance and the depth of knowledge that is needed for a really good response. Then next is priming. So priming is giving all of the background information, the context that is needed to help guide the AI model to the best possible response. Then the task is what you would like from the AI model. And lastly, refining. So as you get a response, sometimes you might have to refine it and just adjust the text and wording to guide the AI model to give a better response. So what would a good prompt look like? Well, this is just a simplified example, but simply saying write an article about productivity, that would be quite a poor prompt. It doesn't give enough information for it to be a really successful response. So here we have a much better prompt. This says act as a productivity expert and write a 500-word article about the importance of sleep for productivity aimed at busy professionals in their 30s. Write like if you were talking to a friend and include practical tips they can implement right away. So already you can see how it has used the personas. It's asked a very specific task. It's primed it with lots of information to be able to guide the AI model to the perfect response. So that's it for this lesson on perfect prompts. Getting the prompt right is a very important step, and it just means that the responses are going to be more contextual. They're going to be more thought out and more informative than if you were to give it just a general prompt that doesn't provide much information. So I encourage you to use these tips and pointers the next time you are writing out a ChatGPT or Gemini prompt. And in the next lesson, we're going to be looking at some of the roles and personas to use for that step in the prompting process. So that's it for this lesson. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Hey there, and we're talking about roles and personas when it comes to generative AI and crafting the perfect prompt. So this is an important step, an element to your prompts that allows your responses to be a lot more tailored and a lot more insightful and relevant. By defining a role, you can guide the AI's responses towards a more specific and engaging outcome. So what do these roles and personas look like? Well, there's not a predefined or set list that you need to work from. You can use any role or persona that you can think of. An example would be to ask it to act as a world-class copywriter, or to say you are a B2B content strategist. These are just some of the ways that you can instruct it to act as a certain persona, but whatever you need, whatever expert you need to access and tap into, you have that at your fingertips with all of these roles and personas. So on the slide here, we can see a list of all of them, and these would be specific to their respective fields. So roles and personas, really useful technique in prompt crafting to be able to tailor the response of the AI model, which is a really powerful tip. That's it for this lesson. In the next lesson, we're going to bring this all together and look at a prompt framework. You'll be able to see all of the different elements needed to craft the perfect prompt. So then you'll be able to go away and have a very thorough understanding of what is needed to craft a great prompt. That's it for this lesson. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye. Welcome back to a new lesson on Phrase Express and how it can help you with all of your ChatGPT or Gemini prompting needs. So in the lesson, I'm going to be walking you through how I use Phrase Express to set up all of my prompts so that I can standardize them and also have them easily accessible. It saves a ton of time, and it just makes sure that I use the same prompts again and again, and it is just a great way to save time. So we're going to be looking at a collection of the most common ChatGPT prompts. This will show you how you can use Phrase Express to just organize and set them up. We're going to create a handy all-in-one prompt using the prompt framework, and you'll see that it's a very versatile prompt that will automatically output the selections that we make. So it's a dynamic prompt as well. Then you're going to learn how to assign an auto text and hotkey. So that is where you can quickly access all of your prompts, and from there you're able to get to the one that you need in the quickest amount of time. So this is a really cool tool just to enhance your ChatGPT experience, and it's easily done with Phrase Express. So stick around and we're going to look at how to do that. So we're back in Phrase Express, and I just wanted to show you how I use it with ChatGPT and Gemini. So if we have a look here, we've got some prompts that I've set up. So much like phrases, where you can have a boilerplate which will spit out a bit of text, you can use it for prompting as well. So you can either have just a generic text prompt which outputs a predefined prompt that you set, or you can get a little bit creative and start to have inputs and build out a prompt based on selections that you make. So for the first example, this is a act as prompt. So we are choosing the role, and then we are choosing the action, and then we are choosing what the topic is, and then we are going to ask it to display it in a specific format. Now, you could type this out normally, but it just makes it a lot more dynamic and powerful when you have it already set up here. It's just going to save a bit of time, and you have all of the lists pre-populated, so it's just a really more efficient way to do it. So let's take a look at this in action. So if we put in the auto text, we then get the context menu where we can start to choose all of our prompts. And let's go into the first one. So I'm going to hit tab. It then brings up the input form. So act as, this is the role that we want the GPT to take on. It's going to give more personalized, more tailored, more relevant responses to that role. So here we are going to say, let's have a look, copywriter or mindset coach. We're going to choose that and create. So this is the action it must perform. Here are all the options: essay, recipe, ad copy, headline, etc. So we want to, let's say, do a summary. And now the topic is going to be how to beat procrastination. How to beat procrastination. And we want the format to be in Markdown. So that's it. We are happy with that, and then we click OK, and it's basically created that for us. Then we can run the prompt. And there it is. It's giving us the output and some really cool sections here. It's broken it down. We've got key strategies to overcome, set clear goals, prioritize. So that's just a nifty little way to have all of the roles kind of set up there. And of course you could write that out and type that out, but having it there means that you just have all of the options available to you. So you're not missing out on anything, and it'll standardize the response each and every time. We jump back into Phrase Express. Let's look at the next one. So we're going to create a e-commerce product description. So here is the prompt that we've laid out. So act as an e-commerce copywriter, write a 300 to 500 word product description, and then adding some relevant details, benefits it might have, all of that. So we've added in all of these parameters and considerations for the GPT to use when it is crafting its response. And then lastly here, we will have the input form, and that is where we will add the products. If we add more than one, it's going to give us descriptions for more than one product, but for this example, we'll just use a single product. So let's hop over to ChatGPT and give that a try. So we come in here. It's going to be a height adjustable bamboo standing desk, and there is some information there as to its size, so we'll run that. And then, as you can see, it is spitting out the product description. Of course, I've asked it to use the pain agitation solution framework. So from that, it's given quite a comprehensive description that we could use. Of course, in this state, it's not ready to use. I would need to go in and edit it and just polish it up and make sure that it is really ready for an e-commerce website. But at least there, it's given you a very solid and very well structured description to work from. Okay, so if we come back here, the next one is asking 10 questions about a topic. So this is a prompt that you can use just to understand more about a specific topic, and these will be questions that you can ask. It's good to use these with ChatGPT and Gemini, because it shows you some of the things that you might not have thought of. So it lists all of the questions, and it just helps you think more on the topic and come up with more information around it, because then what would happen is those questions you would then use to formulate a new ChatGPT prompt where it would cover everything, and it would give a very fully inclusive and comprehensive response. So if we go back to ChatGPT, and I think what I'm going to do, just to save a bit of time here, is create a hotkey for this instead. Let's do P for prompts. Right, so we want to next go into the question topic. So what is the topic? Let's keep it at AI productivity, but you could add anything you want to, and we'll ask it. And there it's just giving us the response. And this would just help us dive a bit deeper into the topic and just be able to ask ChatGPT the right questions to be able to get the right answers, essentially. Okay, so the next one is if we compare and contrast. So this is to outline the similarities, differences, qualitative characteristics, quantitative factors, functionality, impact, key takeaways, and other factors into a table. And an example of this would be A versus B, so Apple versus Microsoft, or things like that. So if we head over to ChatGPT, all right, so we're going to compare the texts. So here, instead of Apple versus Microsoft, let's say ClickUp and Trello. There we go. And we're gonna submit that. So there we go. It's coming back with its response, and it's just giving a really cool breakdown of the differences between these two software. And that's just a great prompt to compare two different topics. So yeah, I think you get the idea here. Here's another example. So I want to learn about a topic, identify and share the most important 20% of learnings from this topic that will help me understand 80% of it. So this is a classic one, and this is from earlier lessons, as you might remember, the Pareto principle or the 80-20 rule. So this is a prompt just to really get out the most important aspects of any topic very quickly. Here's another one. Your role is that of a problem solver. Give me a step-by-step guide to solving, and then you insert your problem. And then here we can summarize content as well. So all the text you would add there. This one we can actually run. So let's just do this one quickly, and just to show you. Shift P. Summarize, and here let's come in here and bring up this tips and tricks of using text expanders. So there, it's just summarizing everything from this really lengthy script. It's just taking out the key points and making it a lot easier to read and understand. And that's it. I mean, this is one way that I use Phrase Express to enhance my prompts and use it more effectively in ChatGPT and Gemini. It just means that I have all of the prompts ready and waiting and organized, and I really find it to be helpful. So why not give it a try and see if it helps you. That's it for this lesson. I'll catch you in the next one. Now that you've mastered the essentials, you're already well on your way to working smarter, not harder. But what if you could take your productivity to the next level? What if you could unlock an additional 5 hours per week using the most effective strategies, tools, and techniques available? I'd like to introduce you to my full course, Time Management Hacks, Unlock 5 Hours of Extra Productivity. You'll learn how to structure your day for maximum impact using methods like the 80-20 rule, Pareto principle, and also time blocking methods. You're going to learn about advanced email management, how to get your email to inbox 0 at the end of the day. I also teach you how to leverage cutting-edge AI tools. You're going to learn how to squeeze the most out of ChatGPT and Gemini. Plus, we're going to dive into some task management tools and see how I use them and how you can squeeze the most out of them. One of my favorites is the tool called ClickUp, and you're going to see just how to use the more advanced features to get the most out of your task list. We're also going to have a look at Phrase Express, which is an incredibly useful text expander, and this one is going to be sure to save you plenty of time, up to 2 to 3 hours per week right off the bat. And that is one of my favorite tools. So if you're ready to take your productivity to the next level, as well as learn to use AI effectively and more productively, then sign up for the course today and let's take your productivity to the next level and unlock that 5 hour advantage.